Last week, we first looked at the Arne-Thompson-Utter Classification Index for Folklore. It's a system made by 3 generations of folklorists that looks at tales by their motifs, that is, their building blocks, their Legos, if you will. And these different Legos, the magical helper, the wicked stepmother, the shoe that fits, the shoe that doesn't fit, can be arranged in different ways to tell completely different stories. But they can also be used to identify the same story with different titles, or even with no title at all. So we all recognize a magic helper, a wicked stepmother, a shoe that fits, and a prince that uses that shoe to find a lost bride as something that's part of a Cinderella tale, right? So, but that one of those motifs, or a couple of those motifs, could also appear in different kinds of tales. So we looked at Little Red Riding Hood, the ATU 333 last time. This week we're looking at Bluebeard, the ATU 312 tale. And both of these have some similarities, like punishing female curiosity, or, implicitly, female sexuality. But they do it with different kinds of characters and in different ways. And the motifs for the 312 include marriage to a stranger, likely, a prohibition in that marriage, that is something the wife is not allowed to do, the husband's one special rule. And, of course, the wife violates that prohibition and she gets forbidden knowledge. And this knowledge is the knowledge that her husband is a serial killer. He has murdered all of his previous wives. And by violating that prohibition, though, by opening the door, discovering their bodies, she sort of magically alerts the husband that she has done what he told her not to do, and he comes back and demands her life for her failure to obey. But unlike the other wives, this wife cries out for help, and that help comes. She's rescued at the last moment, and in the end she's a happy widow with all her husband's gold and all of the freedom she wants. So that's how Perrault's tale, written in the 1690s, wraps all of this up. Now, this tale transforms in later eras, and it's also, there are responses to this tale in later eras, and we're going to be looking at 2 of those responses further on. And as you look at these, think about the ways these same tropes, the marriage, the prohibition, the discovery of forbidden knowledge, violation, the rescue, what characters enact these tropes? Does it have different meaning when different characters are involved in different actions? What kind of cultural messages or historic messages are being sent by the same tale rewritten in different ways? Because as you're going to be looking at Carter, and then you're going to be looking at Hopkinson, we have both a feminist response from the 1970s, 1980s feminist movement, and then we have a post-colonial Jamaican response that is using an imported European tale, bringing in Jamaican folklore, and then looking at layers of oppression that exceed those looked at by Carter. So be thinking of that as you're moving on, and I look forward to your responses.